Hi guys, for those of you that don't know, I'm SparklyRuth and I'm the one that originally asked Steve, 21st Century Cat, the question about self-worth on YouTube. Now, I'm doing this response video to kind of clear a couple of things up really. First of all, I don't normally make videos, I don't normally vlog. And this is about my 5th attempt, so I can see why Steve struggles, and he's an accomplished filmmaker. It's not as easy as people make it look. So first of all, I have massive respect for Steve. Steve is one of my best friends. We've been friends for years now, and I really like his videos and I really like what he does. The question, I guess, arose from, I came to stay with Steve for a few weeks, and I noticed that he spends a lot of his time on YouTube either editing or watching other people's videos, and I noticed that he seems to feel really good when he gets some really good feedback, understandably, but I noticed it was taking up so much of his time, and I wondered whether he was getting his feeling of goodness and being a good person from the feedback that he gets on YouTube. And I just posed the question to him: what would happen if you were to stop making YouTube videos? Would you have a gap in your life? You know, how would you feel about yourself? Now, none of this comes from an ivory tower. I examine myself probably far too much. I'm probably my own harshest critic. And I have to be honest, when I go onto Facebook and I can see lots of messages from lots of people that I know all around the world, then I get really excited and probably get a little bit too up and down based on what other people, you know, want to say to me. So it didn't come from an ivory tower. I kind of said to Steve, what would happen? Why don't you take a week off from YouTube? I'll take a week off from Facebook, and we'll both see what happens in our lives. So I guess the question of saying, you know, what happens if YouTube goes away, that's exactly where it came from. I wasn't trying to naively say to him, you know, what if you got taken off YouTube, or what if YouTube goes away? Because those things aren't going to happen. More than likely, you know, he's going to get bored of it before any of those happen. But that's kind of where that came from. Now, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody that gave him all the feedback that they did. You've all been really, really supportive, and I know that one of the things that Steve likes about YouTube is the community aspect. You guys are absolute legends and really supportive of each other, and I know you guys are a lot of what keeps Steve going, because it's quite a lonely process from what I can gather of, you know, editing the videos and stuff, and the feedback that he gets is fantastic. I guess what I was saying to him about feedback was, I wasn't trying to be a naysayer about that. A lot of his feedback is positive, that's fantastic. I guess I was saying to him, you know, how much of it is constructive, how many people actually tell you what they liked but how you could improve on it and stuff like that. Because I'm no expert, I try to give him feedback, and he asks for a lot of my feedback before the films go live, but I don't really know too much what I'm talking about. So you guys that give him creative input, I really appreciate it. Now, as for your responses and things, thank you everybody. I've looked at your feedback really honestly, and I really, really appreciate it. First of all, I don't pretend to be an intellectual. I read quite a lot of books and question my own life quite a lot, but I don't pretend to even remotely understand a lot of it. The joke's on me because I had no idea who Albert Schweitzer was. I've looked him up on Wikipedia, and he seems like an interesting fellow, so I guess I'll have to find out a bit more. But I didn't for 1 minute need to disregard video making or seem snobbish. You know, just even trying to make one video response here I found difficult enough. And I have to be honest, my real craft is writing, and I only put my writing out there to a very limited audience, and get very little feedback. So you guys that put yourselves out there on the internet, I have massive respect for you, massive respect, especially now, because I think what he does is fantastic. But everybody, yeah, massive respect. Ken RG, I totally appreciate where you're coming from and what you were saying to Steve, and I know you didn't literally mean that I was evil, but I totally understand what you're saying about my feedback. Was it misguided and stuff? Yeah, quite possibly. I questioned myself over and over again before I even said anything to Steve about this. I really wanted to make sure that I was saying it to him for the right reasons, and that there wasn't any jealousy or anything like that. That did cross my mind, and I tried to examine my reasons behind it. I think it all came down to the fact that he was just spending so long on here and seemed to derive so much of his mood from how YouTube felt about him. That's where it came from. But I totally understand your feelings that I could be a naysayer and a spoilsport. I haven't totally written that off either. You know, I think we all have to watch ourselves for our little demons in our heads that try and make other people feel bad so we feel good. I try not to do that, but I know my questions did affect how Steve felt for a few days, and that made me feel terrible. If that makes any of you feel better. And I still don't know whether it was the right thing to say something to him or not, but I think it's really good that it's provoked a discussion between you all, and you've all started questioning your lives. I think all of us questioning our lives is a good thing, whether people agree or not. Just questioning our motivations, because they're not always as good as we think they are. And I realise I'm not saying this from an ivory tower at all. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say really, apart from thank you everybody for your honesty and your feedback. I know one of the things that Steve likes most about YouTube is the community, and the support you've all given to him is fantastic. So thank you all for that, and thank you all for your feedback. Carry on supporting Steve, and just all of you carry on what you're doing. You're fantastic, and that's what the world needs, more creative talent. So if I've made you question yourselves but you're happy as a result, then good. If you're still thinking, then I hope you come back to thinking that your personal creativity is a good thing and keep it going. Thanks guys, sorry for waffling.